Welcome into another episode of Hawksnest. I'm your host, Justin Tremillion. I'm joined with Marvin Pugh Jr. and Kaylee Davis. And guys, let's just jump right into baseball. Over the weekend, they swept Morehead State, and they had a midweek loss to SIU Carbondale. They are currently in second in the OVC behind Belmont, who was the series they played this weekend. And they are going on a road trip until May 10th when they return to Cape to take on Missouri State. Kaylee, given the Redhawks' 8-10 road record, what do they need to do to win these upcoming games?
So, reflecting back on the Morehead series, you really just have to take into account the hitting as well as moving base runners. So, as long as they keep applying pressure and doing what they're doing right, they're gonna be fine.
And Marvin, going over to you, the team is 7-1 in games that go into extra innings. So what can you say about how this baseball team performs when their back's against the wall?
Honestly, Justin, it's honestly impressive. Like they're a team with a lot of fight. They don't just lay down and give up easily. When things get tough and when it's really time to battle, they keep their composure and they bring home the wins. Like they've been in those positions, those same positions many times in which they have. And once you get in those situations many times, you kind of learn on what to expect and how to compete in high intense situations and bring home the wins.
Right, definitely. And moving on to softball, the team went 1-2 on the road at Murray State last weekend, but they had a midweek sweep over UT Martin, and they are currently sitting in third in the OVC behind Belmont and Murray State. They play SIUE, who is 8th in the OVC right now this weekend. And given those games last week, Rachel Rook had the win in the game over Murray State and the 2 wins over UT Martin. So Kaylee, what can you say about how well Rachel Rook has played this season?
She's absolutely electric. She's currently, in my mind at least, one of the best pitchers in the OVC, and she's continuously proving that with records such as being SEMO's leading pitcher in strikeouts, as well as she's the OVC's second leading pitcher in strikeouts. So she's proving herself.
Yeah, and Justin, I also want to add, she's 14-8 on the year. She's the second most winningest pitcher in the OVC, and before we've talked about how this team has had their struggles, and it's obviously a very different team from the previous season, but if it wasn't for her, the team would be in a much worse spot, so she's definitely impacting the team in a huge number of ways.
Right, and with just 2 series left in this season, what can the Redhawks do to move up higher in the standings prior to the tournament?
Well, obviously, for Rachel Rook to keep playing good, and, they're 13-7, 13-8 on the year. 6 games left. They're 3 games out of second place, 4 games out of first. They should look to win out because that would give them the best chance of moving up because depending on how things play out, they could also drop in the standings with teams like UT Martin has 12 wins trailing behind them, and teams like Austin Peay and Tennessee Tech, if I'm not mistaken, they have 13 wins, so depending on how things play out in these last 6 games, they could fall below their 3rd spot. So they should look to win out.
Definitely. And moving on to tennis, the tennis team had a tough end to their season, losing their final 2 matches, but they did finish in second in the OVC behind Austin Peay. They have a bye into the semifinals this weekend in the OVC tournament while they await the winner of Belmont and UT Martin. Marvin, what do they need to do to forget about those 2 losses at the end of the season and prepare to dominate this tournament?
Exactly what you said, Justin. Forget about them. In a tournament, I look at it as, of course, records matter for seedings, but in the tournament, I look at it as everyone's 0-0. So they don't need to dwell on those losses and to make their proper adjustments. But you don't want to start the tournament play with thinking about losses you took in the regular season because everything starts over. A team that could have, the worst record coming into the tournament, they can end up winning the tournament. So it's like everyone's 0-0. So they need to, not dwell on those losses and do exactly what you said. Forget about them.
Right. And moving on to close out with our special shout-outs. Kaylee, do you have a special shout-out today?
Yes. Speaking about track and field, good luck to them at their Memphis Tiger Invitational.
All right. This has been another episode of Hawksnest. Thanks for watching.